UFC 307 just wrapped up. Alex Pereira retains the 205 light heavyweight title, beating Khalil Rountree via stoppage. Absolutely brutal combination finish over Khalil Rountree. My goodness, what can I say except for props to Khalil Rountree and coming in here and giving it his all. He went in there and stood toe-to-toe with Alex, even giving him trouble at times. It was absolutely phenomenal to watch go down, and I cannot give this guy more respect. But Alex Pereira overcame the adversity in the fight, overcame all the trouble that Khalil was giving him as a southpaw, coming forward, crashing forward, blitzing through, throwing combinations on Alex. Alex withstood it, threw a kick, missed it, spun around, got hit, got clipped, got put down for just a split second. Khalil Rountree really put on a good showing for himself, but Alex Pereira ultimately came in on top. This was absolutely fantastic. Here we go. Let's start with the main event, going from top to bottom here. We're going to talk about it throughout the fight card because the fight card up to the main event was absolutely horrendous. The fight card overall, maybe a 4-3 out of 10 overall, in my opinion, just absolutely not very top-notch quality at all. We had a lot of referee problems. We had a lot of judging problems. We had a lot of fighters being boring. I cannot complain enough about the rest of this card, but the main event absolutely stole the show. Just as Khalil was saying in the lead up to the fight, I'm going to put on a show for the fans, and that he did. Respect to Khalil, no doubt. Absolutely awesome. Here was Alex Pereira's walkout. As we know, always awesome to see this chama, chama, chama chants ringing out throughout the cage and throughout the entire arena. Here he goes, pulling the bowstring back. Shots fired. Ah! Yes, let's fucking go, dude. Fucking beautiful. Throws that bow and arrow back, slings it, knocks the arrow, and shoots it, fires it right at his opponent, and throws that three-piece combination. Absolutely fantastic. And that combination is almost the complete exact inverse of what he threw to finish the fight. Absolutely fantastic. The poetry in motion here tonight, absolutely beautiful. Here we go. Here's the finishing combination. Lands on Khalil one time. Boom. Khalil's walking away, fading away. Throughout the entire fourth round, he was fading out. This was absolutely brutal finish by Alex Pereira. Brutal beatdown in the fourth round after 3 rounds of back and forth battling. Third round, Alex started to take over, but that's it. Boom. Right shot. Over the top. Let's replay it. He throws that right hand over the top. Boom. Body shot, and then the final uppercut. Let's watch it one more time. Boom. Boom. Ah. Done. Fucking amazing from Alex Pereira. Brutal finish. I cannot say that enough. It was just badass. It was brutal. It was the most epic finish you could have had in terms of striker on striker. Amazing. Fantastic. Khalil Rountree in the post-fight press, not the post-fight press conference, but the post-fight interview with Joe Rogan. He said, I'll be back. He loved what the Utah crowd brought to him. Absolutely fantastic. Great stuff here from Khalil. The guy's respectful. He showed love to the crowd. Look at how cut up he is. His eye is completely swollen shut. His nose is busted wide open. Listen, I was not very high on Khalil coming into this one. I thought maybe he didn't really deserve it, but hey, maybe we'll get a fun fight out of it. I was really doubting what he could do. I thought he couldn't really do anything to Alex. I thought he had nothing for Alex. And that's what really showed how much this fight meant. Because going into this, a lot of people thought Khalil was going to come in here and steal the show. Alex is riding too high. The superstar, megastar theory where when you're at the top of the heap, when you're at the top of the world, you can't get any higher in terms of star value. You're just taking everything for granted. And maybe Alex did, and maybe that's why Khalil was able to get to him in those first 2 rounds. But man, Khalil showed out. He showed up, put on a great performance. He paid the price for it, obviously. He hung in there as long as he could. And what made this fight good and what made it worth it in the end, and what makes it a good title defense, is that Khalil actually showed up to fight. I was nervous. I was on pins and needles, sitting on the edge of my seat, shaking. I needed Alex to get the win. I wanted him to get the win because he needed to get the win over a guy who didn't really quite deserve the fight, but showed that he can hang in there with the best guys in the world. obviously Khalil Rountree is one of the top 5 fighters in the 205 division. There's not many guys better than him. Not many guys with the heart that he showed in this fight. And that's what made this fight worth it. Alex overcame adversity. Everything wasn't just handed to him on a silver platter. It wasn't just perfectly laid up to him, easy fed on a silver spoon, like they've been saying, his lead up to the 185-pound division title. He proved that he can fight through adversity, and not everything is just lame, pathetic performances that are handed to him perfectly by the UFC. That Dana White privilege. Alex showed that that is not what is going on here. And that means a lot to everybody, hardcores, what he means to us as a fighter in the history of the UFC, his standing amongst all the all-time greats. Alex Pereira cementing himself as one of the best light heavyweights of all time, if not one of the most dangerous and most exciting fighters, one of the most active fighters, one of the just best fighter for fighter fight that you can find. I don't even know what kind of words to put that into. He's your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. His walkouts are epic. He's got funny comedy. He doesn't even speak English, but yet he's this huge star. Alex Pereira means a lot to the UFC, and he means a lot to the fan base. Dricus, obviously, he was talking about going down to fight Dricus. He's talking about moving up to heavyweight. Joe Rogan asked him, what's next for Alex, okay? Alex, what is next for you, man? And Alex had this response, and he's been training with Sean Strickland. That's a little bit of background here. Sean Strickland fights at the 185-pound division at middleweight. He's going to be fighting Dricus next, very likely soon in the beginning of 2025. That's probably what's going to happen. So Alex's response was, Dricus is probably fighting Sean next, so I won't get involved. I could make the move to heavyweight, but this division is great. There's fights for him at heavyweight. It'd be fun to see him fight what's his fucking name? Aspinall, Tom Aspinall. It'd be great to see him fight Tom Aspinall, but obviously that's probably not going to happen. At least now Alex is talking about fighting other guys at 205. He's got Rakic out there. He's got the Blachowicz rematch. He's got Ankalaev. Like, I think he thinks that he's got enough players there. And Adesanya, maybe talking about moving up. Who knows about that one? But man, I can't say enough good things about Alex Pereira. Obviously, they released the bonuses. Dana came out, announced the bonuses, or the UFC came out and announced the bonuses. Fight of the night, Alex Pereira, Khalil Rountree, no doubt, absolutely. And then performances of the night. Ryan Spann had a good knockout over Ovin St. Preux, the aging veteran. And Joaquin Buckley had one of the greatest, funniest, just luckiest, I don't know, craziest knockout. It wasn't absolutely flashy, amazing knockout of the year quality, but he just leapt forward with all his strength in one punch and flatlined Wonder Boy. It was absolutely fantastic. Had me flying up out of my seat. I couldn't believe it. Because Wonder Boy was honestly picking him apart and winning that fight up to that point. Very impressive performance from Joaquin and Ryan Spann both, but Alex Pereira and Khalil Rountree, no doubt, best fight of the night by far. It's not even close, not even a debate at this point. So yeah, what do you guys think is next for Alex Pereira? I think probably the Ankalaev Rakic winner takes Alex Pereira in the next one. Probably will be taking him on in, I don't know, early 2025, February, March, April range, kind of like that. Alex deserves a long break, or at least a couple of weeks break. He saved 300. There was no good main event. He came in, stepped in with Jamal Hill, saved that fight card. There was nobody when Conor fell out against Michael Chandler at the 303 card. He saved that. There was nobody scheduled except for the Rocco Pennington and Juliana Pena fight for the 307 card. That's not a good main event, as we know, as that fight played out. Absolutely terrible, horrendous fight. Alex Pereira came in, saved the day 3 times. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 3 of the biggest cards of the year. 300, tent pole, every 10 years, every 8-year kind of fight. Every 100. Do you know what that means? And Alex Pereira stepped in there and saved that one. International Fight Week. It was supposed to be Conor McGregor, the biggest star the UFC has ever seen, and Alex Pereira steps in, saves that. UFC 307 in Salt Lake City, in America, their biggest market, came in, saved the day, did that whole shebang. Beautiful, beautiful performance. Great fight. He's the fighter of the year. Plinio Cruz, coach of the year. There's nothing more you can say about Alex Pereira. He's done. It's a wrap for the year of 2024 for Alex Pereira. Is this the greatest run that anybody has had in a single year as champion? It might just be. The fact that he knocked these guys all out, went through just barely a little bit of diversity in his last and final fight against probably his weakest opponent, but Khalil had just enough heart to hang in there. What the hell else can I say about this guy? probably one of the best fighters out there right now. Somehow he is the definition of mixed martial arts. He is implementing one skill, kickboxing, and putting it into a game plan in which he can take out all of these guys across all these martial arts. This is what the first UFC was all about. Everybody's style against everybody else's style. Your style versus my style, who's better, who can come out on top. Alex Pereira is proving that kickboxing for him and the way that he fights is just absolutely dangerous and absolutely has the potential to finish and win in any capacity, any fight right now. We'll see if he fights Ankalaev next, if Ankalaev tries to take him down and wrestle him, but I don't know. Can Ankalaev even get in on this guy? Because Ankalaev does not quite have the striking acumen, the striking fight IQ that Roundtree does. Ankalaev's got decent striking, I'll give him that. He's got good striking overall. He's a good, well-rounded mixed martial artist. He might be the best 205er on the planet right now, but Alex Pereira is just running through these guys in a manner that we have not seen before. Shout out to Alex Pereira, one of the best fighters, one of my favorite fighters. These guys aren't fighting like this. We saw what Mario Bautista did in laying all over Jose Aldo. We saw what Merab Dvalishvili did a couple of weeks ago, laying all over Sean O'Malley. Alex Pereira is exactly what fighters want to see. He's a fighter's fighter. He's your fighter's favorite fighter, like I already said. He is every casual fan's favorite fighter now. He's gaining all the eyes of the casual fans. The casual fans are drawn to Alex Pereira like fucking flies to sugar, like bees to honey. I mean, this guy's your favorite, your best friend who doesn't even watch fights, favorite fighter. That's what Alex Pereira is. Stepping up on short notice, doing everything, finishing fights, absolutely awesome to see. Great stuff from Alex Pereira. Gets that fight of the night bonus. Obviously the best fight of the night. Nobody can deny that in any capacity. Now, on to the rest of the card. Actually, before we get to that, Jamal Hill is crying and complaining, saying that his loss to Alex back at 300 was controversial. He's yawning, saying that fight was boring. That was a great fight. Khalil, coming into it, had no chance, and then people thought maybe he'd get it done in the last couple of days. Maybe there's a chance Khalil can get it done. You know, he's fast, he's dangerous. He showed that he was really fast tonight, Khalil did. He showed that he's really powerful tonight. That was a great fight, fantastic. There were moments for both guys where they were both having trouble in the first couple of rounds, and then Alex just took over in the third and then finally finished it, put an absolute beat down on Khalil in the fourth round, finished the fight. Alex Pereira retains the light heavyweight championship. Now, on to the co-main event. Not much to say here. Juliana Pena versus Raquel Pennington. I think Raquel Pennington won the fight. She hurt Juliana Pena with strikes in the first round, and then Juliana got on top of her at the end of the first, kind of secured that ground control time. Second round, boring. Third round, more ground control time. Fourth round, hurts Juliana Pena bad with a high kick, wobbles her, and then drops her at some point. I don't know. The rounds all mush together to me. They don't matter. I don't care about this fight. It was boring. It was not entertaining. I will admit, Raquel definitely took me off guard when she dropped her. Great strike from her, but nothing really meaningful. These two girls are just waiting for Kayla Harrison to come in there and absolutely drag them all over the floor, because I predict that's what's going to happen. But the judges did their thing. They were being really shady, really shoddy all night, not paying attention. They were basically blind the entire night, and they picked Juliana Pena, who barely did any damage on Raquel Pennington. She landed one good shot, maybe two good shots. Had control time on the ground. Listen, we scored damage here in MMA. Damage counts first. Takedowns don't count for anything unless it's completely even. Submissions don't count for anything unless it's completely even. Submissions, if you have it sunk in and if it's damaging, if you're cranking the neck, if you're choking them, if you're bending the arm, if you're bending the legs, if you're twisting the ankles, the knees, when they are doing physical harm, physical damage to the body, they count as damage. If you are slamming somebody to the ground with a takedown, that is considered damage. Regular takedowns do not count. Sitting on somebody does not count. Laying your hands, pitter-pat shots on their face does a little bit of damage, but it does not count as much as dropping somebody or wobbling somebody with a head kick. Juliana Pena did not win this fight. She did not deserve to win this fight. It was closer than it probably should have been. It was much closer than anybody. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't even know what to say. Was it closer than anybody was expecting? I was expecting it to be pretty close. I didn't really know who was going to win going into it. Raquel Pennington definitely did more damage. Juliana Pena did not get the win here, but yet she has the belt, and that's what's going to happen. She's going to be taking on Kayla Harrison next. Good grief. I'm dying over here because of this fight. It's literally giving me brain failure. Anyway, some fans at the crowd, not sure if this is even real, but shout out to a weirdo for getting this. No way, they really caught people sleeping during the Pennington-Pena fight. Do better, Dana White. Come on, UFC 307. These guys were falling asleep. Dude, I was half falling asleep on the couch just watching this stuff, and I was sitting there. I'm all over these fights. I love watching these fights, but man, this fight put me to sleep. I don't know. There's not much else to say about this one. The fight sucked. It is what it is. Anyway, on to the next fight, which was Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. If we move down the card, Juliana Pena got the win. Mario Bautista getting the win somehow over Jose Aldo. Mario Bautista's game plan: hug up on Aldo's leg. Aldo was striking after the first round. Mario Bautista came out, and respect to him, he came out, blitzed Aldo, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him in the first round. Fantastic, fantastic stuff from Mario Bautista in the first round. That's it. That's pretty much all he did. Came out there, obviously tired himself out. You could tell he was tired after the first round. Aldo had to weather the storm, took a couple of shots. It wasn't great for Aldo in that first round. Definitely Mario Bautista's round in that first round, no doubt. But the second round, Aldo started to turn it up, man. He was picking Mario Bautista apart. He cut him really badly over the eye, had him bleeding all over the place. Jose Aldo, without even throwing almost no leg kicks, no calf kicks, slowed Mario Bautista down just with a simple jab and a couple of combinations on the feet. His boxing was crisp, his speed was crisp. He's 38 years old, and yet he was just as fast as Mario Bautista, if not faster. He did more damage. He looked more powerful than Mario Bautista. No question about it. Mario Bautista, though, was able to get in on some clinches, get in on some control time. This guy, again, we go back to what I just said. Damage counts over everything. Takedowns and clinches don't count unless you're doing damage. Listen, I love to see shoulder strikes. I love when I see it because it's a different kind of damage. Throwing those in the clinch when you can't get anything else going, when you're going hand for hand, fighting the over and the under hooks there. Throw those shoulder strikes and get some damage off. Mario Bautista was doing that, but they do not do that much damage. It's like hitting you with this kind of shot, with a wrist shot. A level 1 strike, as John McCarthy always says. A wrist shot, a boom, boom, boom. That's really not doing anything. Yes, after a while, does this start to get annoying? Knuckles on the chin. Sure. Shoulder strikes, that's like level 2 damage. You're throwing a little bit of body into it, but you're not doing significant damage in any capacity whatsoever. Not at all. Not any kind of damage that's going to be really harming somebody. They might have to turn their face because they're taking a couple of shots right on the chin from your shoulder. Your shoulder's hard, it's a bone. Mario Bautista was just hugging up on his leg for half of the second round. You don't win that. When Jose Aldo pieces you up, you get picked apart, you're bleeding, you're cut, you're falling all over the cage because he's beating you up with jabs. You lose that round. So no question, Jose Aldo, 1-1. Mario Bautista had the flurry in the first round. Jose Aldo came out, picked him apart in the second, 1-1. Okay, third round. Jose Aldo comes out, starts strong, does the same thing. Mario Bautista gets in on a takedown and hugs him for the entire time. And then Jose Aldo gets apart with about a minute to go, starts striking, beats him up for a minute. What does Mario Bautista do? Oh, I'm going to jump in on the legs and hug him again. The last 20 seconds of the fight, it's your chance to cement it. It's pretty close. It was close in the third round. I won't deny it. Mario Bautista shot in and held on to Jose Aldo for 20 seconds at the end of the fight. Jose Aldo won the fight off of damage. Based on damage, he won the fight, no question. Control time does not matter unless there's no damage being had. Jose Aldo picked him apart in the second round. He landed shots, had a couple of great combinations in the third round. All to the head, barely through to the body at all. So it doesn't matter. If you want to say body shots don't do as much damage, which they do, and we saw that in the Alex Pereira fight when he went 1-2 to the body of Khalil in his finishing combinations. We see that can finish somebody, a body shot. So, Mario Bautista said before the fight, this is going to be a bloodbath, this is going to be a war. A bloodbath and a war ain't hugging up on somebody's leg for 5 minutes, pussy, okay? I'm sorry, Mario Bautista, I liked him coming into this fight. I thought he was fun coming into this fight. In the first round, he showed that he's a fun, exciting fighter when he wants to be. I get you want to win the fight, but that's not how you do it. You don't come in here, you don't cry, hey, this is going to be a bloodbath, hey, this is going to be a war, I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy, I'm going to leave this guy in a bloody mess on the floor. You don't say that stuff if your game plan is to do everything you can to get a win at every cost and sacrifice dangerous fighting ability, dangerous finishing ability to get the win. You don't say it's going to be a bloodbath. You do what Tom Aspinall does. He says nothing. He says, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to beat this guy from pillar to post. He goes in there and finishes guys. But if Tom Aspinall had a boring decision, one fight, I wouldn't say a fucking thing. I'd say it's boring. I'd say, dang, Tom Aspinall, where'd all your finishing ability go? But I wouldn't be complaining like this about the Mario Batista fight. A bloodbath? It's a war? You hugged this guy's leg for 10 minutes. Colby Covington doesn't go in there and say, this is going to be a bloodbath. I'm going to leave you in a bloody heap. Colby Covington says this is going to be a war and I'm going to beat your ass. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Obviously, he's fallen off the wagon as of recent, but Colby back in the day used to beat the shit out of people, tire the shit out of people. He used to drop you on the floor, let you get up, piece you up on the feet, let you back down, put you on the ground, let you up, put you on the ground, let you up, beat you up on the feet. Like, Colby Covington just beat you up with volume. That's totally different than Mario Batista. Mario Batista was just hanging on Jose Aldo's leg, barely even trying to get the takedowns. He didn't get him one time. He was like, at the end of the fight, oh man, he's really tough to get down. You didn't get him down once. Of course he's like tough to get down. Duh, you didn't take him down one time. Anyway, before I get any more pissed off Mario Batista, respect to him. He got the win. Good for him. He's moving up the rankings. He's a younger guy trying to get in there. But Jose Aldo won the fight. You can't tell me any different. Anyway, the women's fighter that stole the entire weekend was Kayla Harrison. Earlier yesterday, the PFL put out a promo promoting the Chris Cyborg and Larissa Pacheco fight, and it was saying that Kayla Harrison lost. You know, she was a great fighter, and Larissa Pacheco upset her, beat the crap out of her in the throughout their fight, whatever. Kayla Harrison obviously responded to this after the fight. Not sure if I can get any volume on this. But, you would have won that fight, champion in just the first 3 UFC fights, getting it, she won over Ketlen Vieira very impressively. Ketlen Vieira, honestly, is a bad matchup for her because she's judo. She doesn't have traditional takedowns. She's not a traditional wrestler. And so Ketlen Vieira showed that there were some problems with Kayla Harrison's game. Didn't quite take her down, doesn't have good takedown entries, but she's good at the judo. She's good at throwing you around the cage. Once she grabs you and then she throws you, that's what judo is. In a nutshell. Basically, I need to grab you, throw you around, use your weight against you. Wrestling is more about getting in on those takedowns, using that strength to put you on the ground and keep you on the ground. Judo is more about manipulating the body in certain ways, the more technical ability of manipulating body parts, manipulating your weight, manipulating your momentum. That's what judo is all about. So somebody who's really tall like Ketlen Vieira is going to be a bad matchup for Kayla Harrison. And she's really long. You saw her get that big elbow on her. That was impressive. I thought, man, is Kayla Harrison going to be able to get it done? She did in the first and third round. She hit Ketlen Vieira with a huge elbow at the end of the first round. Ketlen Vieira for like the whole entire break in between the rounds. She looked like she didn't even know where she'd been. She looked like she'd never been hit by that in her life. She looked like, oh my God, I've never been hit by something that hard in my life. Jeez. Anyway, Kayla Harrison gets the win as expected, if a little bit tougher than we thought it would have been. Ketlen Vieira showed that she's got some skills, showed that she's got some range, she's got some dangerous ability, threw that beautiful elbow. It was great. Not a great entertaining fight, but it showcased what Kayla Harrison can do on the ground and what she can probably do to the now champion Juliana Pena. That's going to be a fight they're going to make soon. Put that on the Sean Strickland, Dirkus du Plessis undercard. Let's get it done. Let's get it wrapped up. Maybe Amanda Nunes will come out of retirement, fight Kayla Harrison. We'll see what happens there. Anyway, let's get on to the rest of the card. Roman Dolidze, Kevin Holland, not much to say there. Roman Dolidze was kind of just ragdolling Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland trash-talking, complaining, doing okay on the feet, actually outstriking Roman in the first round, the first couple of minutes, but Roman ultimately got that takedown, just started just smothering Kevin, I guess. Kevin lasted the round, but he was kind of just talking and then complaining a lot that he was getting hit on the back of the head. Like, it's like a coping mechanism. Like, he pretends like he's not really committed to being champion. He pretends like he's not really committed to fighting. So then when something goes wrong, he just like harps on it and says, oh, I'm distracted. Oh, this, oh, that. I like Kevin Holland. I think he's fun. I think his trash talk is funny in the cage. I think he's got a fun style. He's long, rangy striker, has knockout ability, uses that length very, very well. But when he's going up against tough opponents or a bad matchup for him, the moment something starts going wrong for him, he just starts coping and crying and pretending and basically like gaslighting himself and persuading himself and like doing reverse psychology on himself. And, oh, I'm only losing because of this. I'm only losing because He's hitting me on the back of the head even though he was just striking on the ground like anybody does. Nobody's complaining about that. And everybody knows, yes, you're not supposed to do that, but I'm not going to complain about it because I'm doing this, I'm doing that while I'm getting held down in full guard. That's just what happens, Kevin. We don't cry about that. Anyway, at one point, Roman had him twisted up. Kevin was trying to get up. He twisted it in a weird way and broke his rib, or maybe separated his lower rib, that floating rib, maybe separated that, hurt himself. And then he was just showing that he didn't really want to go back in there. He said, I'm good, I'll go back in there. And then his coaches ultimately decided to stop it because he just wasn't showing that right effort. Anyway, Roman Dolidze gets the win, and he gets a black belt off of it. Like, what are we doing here? What are we giving this guy a black belt? He got to finish via doctor stoppage. Like, who cares? Kayla Harrison, obviously, like I just spoke about, got the win over Ketlin Vieira. Joaquin Buckley surprised me. Stephen Thompson was doing absolutely fantastic. He was picking Joaquin Buckley apart. I thought Joaquin honestly could get the win here because, like he did right away in the first minute of the fight, he was mixing it up, came in heavy. He's a big, heavy-handed striker. He looks good at 170. Now he's moved down. Thick, stocky fighter, kind of plods forward, keeps his guard high, and throws big, powerful shots. And then he shot a takedown immediately, and it was great. That's what I thought he was going to do the whole time, but Stephen Thompson was able to just get right back up, evade those kind of shots, evade everything as much as possible, strike very, very well, use those kicks. He landed a head kick that was pretty solid, was throwing the jab, coming off the cage. Even when he was backed up against the cage, came out, showed that he's got an ability to hang in there with Joaquin Buckley, even though Joaquin Buckley is the younger, more athletic, stronger fighter. Got back up from the takedowns, but ultimately Joaquin Buckley just went for broke in the third round, and it came in with a giant looping Superman hook shot that I've never seen before and just crushed Stephen Thompson. Wow. Stephen Thompson, 41 years old. I don't think he should retire yet. I think there's a couple fun fights, maybe an Ian Gary, an MVP fight. I'd like to see those fights. MVP also getting up there in age. Why not just put that fight together? I think it'd be fun before Wonderboy retires. I know some people are saying he's going to retire. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't think he's retired yet. I think he's got the Ian Gary fight. I think he's got the MVP fight. Those would be two fun fights to put together. What else can I say about that? Good for Joaquin Buckley. He proved that he's got good fight IQ. He hung in there and he did what he had to do to get it done. He's got good fight IQ. When he's down by 2 rounds, if not just 1, he went for broke and got it done just perfectly. The Yasmin Lucindo fight, Marina Rodriguez fight. Marina Rodriguez was kind of picking her apart in the first 2 rounds, but Lucindo ultimately had great ground control time, did some damage on the ground, and just landed the better, harder shots. Not much to say about that one. Wasn't super interested in that one. Austin Hubbard, Alexander Hernandez. That was a fun one. Pretty interesting overall. They went back and forth. Austin Hubbard, just a great scrapper of a fighter. This guy was in the UFC, got cut by the UFC, came back through the tough gauntlet last season, and he just, I don't know. I think Austin Hubbard won the fight. I think he did more damage. Alexander Hernandez's nose was busted up. He was cut. He was bruised over the eye. Alex Hernandez, I don't know what to say about this guy. He's been this highly touted prospect for years. Like, how much longer are we going to say this guy's a prospect? He's been in between featherweight, lightweight. Austin Hubbard beat him tonight, man, I think, in my opinion. I don't think Alexander Hernandez did much. He landed a couple harder shots. He's got power, but honestly, he'd probably get the $1 million in PFL lightweight division at this point. Just send him down to the PFL, cut the guy. He's probably making a lot more money than he deserves. He's just not great, and I don't even think he beat Austin Hubbard, who's not that great of a fighter, just a scrapper, hardcore, good-chinned fighter. Anyway, good for Alexander Hernandez. Sucks for Austin Hubbard. I think Austin Hubbard won the fight. Alexander Hernandez, even in a win, cut the guy if he's at the end of his contract. Let him go to PFL, Bellator, whatever, do his thing. I don't know, whatever. I don't really care. Anyway, Cesar Almeida. And wait, hold on. That's where the judging, like, that's all this judging was just absolute fucking stupid bullshit. Like, I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense. Judging all across the board tonight was just absolutely awful. Reffing, we had a terrible ref in this next fight I'm about to talk about. Cesar Almeida, the finger meister himself, kept his fingers out at range the entire time in this fight. Poked Ihor Pereira probably like a dozen times throughout 2 rounds. Not much to write home about. Cesar Almeida trains with Alex Pereira, trains with Glover Teixeira. This guy's supposed to be the next big thing coming up for them. He's supposed to be great coming off the Contender Series. Ihor Pereira sucks. But man, poor guy was just getting poked all across the cage. Every single step he took, he was just getting poked in the eye. I don't even know what to say. The fight was just kind of terrible. Ihor landed a couple shots. I thought he probably won the fight. Should have taken a point for the eye pokes. He would have won. Groin shot, finally got lucky, stopped the fight. groin shot that was so obvious they had to stop the fight. I mean, that was like, it's just nothing. The fucking ref that was doing this, just absolutely terrible. Somebody said he lost 60% of his purse. I don't think you should take that much money away from the guy. You did sign him up for this. You did commit to giving him money. Like, you can't do that. The guy sucks. Never have him referee in the UFC again. That's what I would say, but don't take his money. He's a hardworking guy, I'm sure. Just an absolute fucking idiot. I mean, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing? Go back to the amateurs where guys can just kill each other on the amateurs. I don't know. Reffing, judging across the board, just terrible, shady UFC bullshit across the board. Thought Marina Rodriguez won the fight, in my opinion. I don't know, whatever. But that one was close, and I wasn't even barely paying attention because I don't really care about that women's fight, no offense. Anyway, Ryan Spann obviously almost knocked out Ovin St. Preux. Ultimately got to his back and got the submission. Got to his back, kind of switched around, got the guillotine. It was a weird scrambling situation off of that almost knockout. Hurt him very badly, had him almost shut off. Oh, had the eyes closed. It is what it is. Ryan Spann, heavy puncher, younger. Ovin St. Preux in his 40s now. Chin isn't quite the same. I mean, I don't know who would have taken that shot from Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann, when he can put things together, is decent. Can put powerful shots together. But, you know, he's kind of just dumb. I like that he shouts out the Christianity, lives out his faith. He's proud of that. That's always cool to see from these guys, sharing their faith. Very, very cool. Sharing whatever you believe in, that's an important part of the post-fight press conference, post-fight speech, post-fight interview with Joe Rogan. Share what you're all about, whether it's your Christianity, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're Jew, like whatever your religion is, whatever your like beliefs are, like that's your time to show the public who you are, because that's what we get invested in. This isn't NFL football where you root for a team no matter who comes across the team, no matter who the coach is, GMs, whatever, whoever the players are. That's not what this is about. MMA is about grafting on and catching on to a fighter and believing in a fighter and latching yourself on to the hype train of a fighter. And the way that Ryan Spann lifted up his faith and kind of promoted himself as, you know, these powerful hands, you know, that's what gets it done. That's the kind of stuff that we'd like to see. Good on the mic, Ryan Spann. Kind of just a silly, dumb goofball, but he's got power in his hands and he gets wins, whatever it is. Anyway, it's cool. I like to see when guys actually show what they're all about. Be proud of what they're involved in, whether it's a charitable cause, whether it's something political, whatever. Sports are political. They are the common denominator. They are the lowest form of politics in at least America, because America has been so politicized over the recent couple of years. This is your time to shine. If you want to show out whatever, people say, you know, I don't want to hear that, whatever it is. I don't care what it is across the political spectrum. If you're on this side, if you're on that side, if you're this religion, if you're not against, if you're completely against religion, if you're this, if you're that, this charity, that charity. This is where we learn about you. We don't get to, the UFC just doesn't do a good job at promotion. MMA guru Lucas Tracy did a couple of videos. I want to do a video in the next week or so about the promotion of the UFC and what they're doing, what Disney's done to them after purchasing them, what the new TKO group is doing in terms of promotion. So your post-fight interview with Joe Rogan and then your post-fight press conference stuff, that's where you show what you're all about. Maybe I don't agree with it. Maybe somebody else agrees with it. Maybe I like this. Maybe they don't. This is where you show what you're all about. And Ryan Spann, I like him. He's decent on the mic. He's got a good personality and he shows it. He's proud of it, even if he's not the best fighter in the world. Anyway, Tecia Torres taking on Carla Esparza. Pretty lackluster fight. Carla, it was a close fight. I thought Carla could have won the fight maybe, but Tecia did more damage probably, was able to scramble out of some things, did more damage to Carla on the feet. And she got the win. It is what it is. They played it up. Carla Esparza had her young son there dressed up in the Cookie Monsters outfit. It was absolutely adorable. We can't deny that. Showed her a little highlight package of her career. She was the first strawweight champion. I don't know why they don't do this for everybody who retires, or at least some of the bigger names. They don't seem to do it for very many people. Did they do it for Dustin Poirier? I don't even think they did. But Carla Esparza got one. Good for her. Lost on her way out, but it's her last fight. Respect to her. It was a fun fight. Grappler versus striker kind of thing. It is what it is. Court McGee surprised me. Two old heads. Court McGee's 39 years old. Tim Means like 40, 41. Tim Means I thought was just going to jab, stay at range, and pick him apart. But Court McGee, man, he just blitzed through him. Loves the Salt Lake City atmosphere. Came in there, showed out for the crowd, got that submission via neck crank. I didn't think Tim Means was going to tap. I thought he was going to have to get it under the neck and submit him for real. Court McGee just blasted through Tim Means. Good for him. Court McGee probably going to retire soon. Maybe he'll take on a couple of old heads. Maybe they'll drag Tim Brown. out of retirement. Who knows what they're going to do with Court McGee? Maybe Adesanya needs such an easy layup that they'll give him Court McGee. Who knows? Whatever it is, what it is. But let me know what you guys think about this whole entire card. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Give me your thoughts, comments, concerns going forward. What's next? What's to come? What did you think about the card? What did you think about the lead up, the build up, the promotion of the fight card? UFC 307 just took place. It was Alex Pereira winning in the main event against Khalil Roundtree. He retains the light heavyweight title. One of the best fighters in the world. One of the best pound for pound fighters in the world in the UFC. That is Alex Pereira, Hands of Stone, Poatan. I'll see you in the next one. Jama.